Bonjour, bienvenue sur ZeroNet TV dans un numéro de Power, je vais encore dire exceptionnel, en plateau. Là aujourd'hui, on va taper dans le très très haut du très très haut. Ça fait des mois, ça fait des années que je vous gonfle avec le Blu-ray, et surtout récemment avec le Blu-ray Ultra HD. Il y a des tas de questions qui sont posées partout par les internautes, je vois des trucs de tous les côtés. Et là je me suis dit, il faut que Power sur ZeroNet apporte des réponses à ces questions. Et pour ça, j'ai essayé de faire une interview de quelqu'un d'extraordinaire qui s'appelle Victor Matsuda, qui est le vice-président de la Blu-ray Disc Association Worldwide. Donc Victor est ici. Ce qui va se passer, c'est qu'on va donc maintenant ripper totalement et passer en langue anglaise. Donc ça va commencer à être sous-titré. Et à partir de maintenant, vous regarderez bien les sous-titres. Victor est très sympa et parle un anglais extraordinaire. Hello Victor, how are you?
Hello, Pipi. Thank
Yes,
you for
Pipi.
having me today.
Oh, it's great. It's great to have you here. Do you want me to introduce yourself or do you want to introduce yourself?
Let me introduce myself,
Yep.
and if you need to add something, please add.
I will. Definitely.
My name is Victor Matsuda. Thank you again for having me today. My daytime job is with Sony. My nighttime job is one of them is working for the Blu-ray Disc Association, and that's why I'm here today.
You don't sleep then, you know.
Very little.
You're a nightcrawler.
Very
Oh
little.
my God. First of all, I'd like you to give us, a state of the world of this market. Where do we stand regarding the Blu-ray disc all over the world?
So Blu-ray disc, we like to think equals Ultra HD Blu-ray these days. I think you mentioned that in your introduction, so let's be clear there. The emphasis on Ultra HD Blu-ray. The message worldwide is that the key driver for Ultra HD Blu-ray, first of all, is very positive. Because of that, all the related product categories, especially in the United States, have been extremely positive. We need to take that success in the United States to other countries, to other regions. That's one of the reasons I'm here today.
Okay.
And a big part of that is working with some local associations, industry associations, but also consumer education. And that's another reason why we're here now as well.
Okay, can you tell me more about what is the Blu-ray Disc Association? It's a kind of congregation between studios, providers. What it is? Can you give us some names?
Yes, so it's an industry group, as you mentioned. It's been in existence for close to 15 years now, I think, and it's basically comprised of 4 industries.
Okay.
Consumer manufacturers, electronic manufacturers,
Like Sony, LG.
Sony,
So,
Samsung, LG, Panasonic, all of
okay.
these companies.
All the big names. Big names.
Big names.
Yep.
Studios, again, all the big studios, especially on the board member companies, Disney, Fox, Warner, Universal, all the Hollywood studios.
Yep.
The IT industry is also quite represented. And then also we call the ecosystem partners, so the Technicolors, the Dolbys, those type of studio support companies also a part of the BDA.
The entire world. Then, to be clear and frank with you, can you have a little, some figures, some comparison between last year and this year? That can indicate, it's growing, but it's growing
Exactly.
very
How much?
fast. How much? Quite frankly, we started from zero. It's easy to say to me, we are just growing. You started from nothing, okay? And then now, where do we stand?
Yes, concretely. So before I get into Ultra HD Blu-ray, again, let's start with TV because that's the key driver here. And for 4K UHD TVs globally, it's a huge. If you go into your store now, Darty or Fnac or wherever, even in France,
Yes.
the floor space is all about 4K UHD TVs now. The sales is growing about 40%, 40,
Okay.
compared to last year globally. And it's going to continue next year. The forecast is 35. So big today, also big tomorrow. A number of households. So now we're looking at globally by 2020, the latest estimate is maybe 1/4, 25% of all households globally will be 4K UHD TV households. But the United States, just because it's a precursor, it's oftentimes an indication what's happening in Western Europe countries like France.
Are you sure?
It's going to be 50%, 1 half of all households by 2020 will be 4K UHD TV.
Okay, Victor, then everything is so positive with you. Everything is just
With-
so great. You're just a rainbow. I'm going to be the journalist now and tell you what I think. I mean, if people are buying 4K, what you call 4K UHD TV, because more or less they will not find anymore so many full HD TVs. They're buying that kind of thing. But they really, do you think that they really experience a real 4K or just buying that kind of TV because it's not expensive and don't have any content to put in it?
It's a very deja vu question.
Of course it is. I'm a déjà vu person.
We had the same question, the same situation when we launched the original Blu-ray. Because many people at the time were buying HD TVs, did not realize that they did not have HD content. And we're going basically through a very similar phase with 4K HDR and Ultra HD Blu-ray now.
Power. Victor.
Oui.
Oui. Victor, I'm going to be the devil's advocate now. Because, you don't know me, but I'm in this business for a long time. And I used to have the first Ultra HD TV 5 years ago. And I thought at this moment in time it was really nonsense to not have any content. And I waited 4 years to have the first Blu-ray disc in Ultra HD. Do you think that the customer could possibly understand a thing like that?
Again, I think it's deja vu.
I don't care if it's deja vu. I mean, I'm a deja vu person. Okay,
Good.
but I need you to understand it. 4 years, Victor.
Yes.
4 years waiting for this.
Yes. So, as I said, as we saw with HD, seeing is believing. I
Okay.
think there is a clear difference between the Ultra HD Blu-ray and the original Blu-ray that we
Okay.
had. And what we found, especially maybe the last 12 to 18 months, driven by what the marketing from the TV products people were, it was all about 4K, 4K, and more 4K, maybe 18 months ago. Nowadays, what we found and what Hollywood technology has especially found, it's much more about HDR and HDR and HDR.
Then you are telling me that people really enjoy that kind of movies, is what you call the 4K Ultra HD, because of the HDR or Dolby Vision, and they don't feel that the resolution is that important. They feel first, I mean, the fantastic dynamic between the contrast, the colors, and everything. This is what comes first.
This is what we are finding now, correct.
Correct, and you do some surveys to know that. You ask some questions into the shops to the customer. What do you think of this 4K? Oh my God, the colors! Oh my God, everything! And you don't talk about the resolution.
Correct. This is actually based on testing or consumer surveys and things like that by private companies, but by the studios themselves, and also by the consumer electronic manufacturers, but also by how can I say, the research groups and things like that as well, the research companies themselves. So whether it's not only us ourselves that we want to see those kind of results. It's not only us, it's people that are doing this in a very scientific and a very neutral
They
point of view
compare
as
the
well.
images and the
Correct.
colors are different and the
Correct.
contrast is different.
And we're not able to show the audience, unfortunately, but the demonstration that I can show you, and we will be making demo discs for the French people to be able to see later this fall at retail, maybe at Festival du Son and Image type of conferences. This will hopefully be very clear to the consumers very shortly as well.
Thank you, Victor. And I'm going to ask the very bad question. It's not that déjà vu, but I'm sure you're going to ask. There's something in France. I mean, we have a very long history regarding movies, theaters, and everything. And it wasn't not only in France, but people do think that they have information that these 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs are not really made from real 4K masters from A to Z. And this is quite shocking because people are buying that kind of thing just to get that kind of resolution. Do you have anything to say regarding this? Because it's growing in Europe. To see what it is. What do I have really on this? What kind of mastering is this?
No, actually, it's not a bad question. I think it's a good. I appreciate the question. Unfortunately, I'm not the best qualified person to answer. But I'm going to say three things. Number one, I think the question is best. Maybe someone with a studio background can give much better.
They don't
reply
want
than
to answer.
myself.
They don't want to answer. I've been to the US this summer, and I've been to some places. I'm in Hollywood and in Vancouver, and I got some friends there. And I say, what about the mastering? What about what you call the 2K intermediate? And they say, come on, Patrick, come on. It's for the theaters, but for the Blu-ray disc, what's going to happen? I mean, you got a movie in the theaters in 2K, and you got the same movie here on the Blu-ray disc in 4K. What is the trick? What is the magic in this? Come on, Patrick. No one wants to answer me.
I see.
You see.
Including myself, but I will try. Number one, so I think there's what I've heard from the studio engineers is that there is a big difference between the remastering that they can do in the studios compared to what your TV or what your Ultra HD Blu-ray machine can do as far as up-resing.
I do agree.
Number one, as we mentioned just in the previous question, it's much more about HDR than resolution.
I do agree in so many points, but figures is figures. And what I do know about the Hollywood making of things, it's impossible actually to have some special effects in 4K. It's only in 2K. Every time they are doing a movie, they're doing a digital intermediate in 2K because they must put the special effects in it. This is my question. This is the answers I got. But I do agree in one thing, because they got a special magic algorithm that puts everything up in a very fluent way. This is what they said. But I do agree on the other point, telling you that the HDR is impressive. And this is the first thing people see.
Yes.
But as a guy from the high-tech industry and journalist, I must say, it's not 100% correct from the beginning till the end. But the result is there. This is what I wanted you to...
and results are everything.
You said it. And results are everything. Power. Victor, are you here? Still here?
I'm still here.
Okay, great. Still standing.
More than ever.
More than ever. We're going to talk about Netflix, Amazon 4K, all that stuff.
Okay.
Because I heard you during the CES in Las Vegas.
Yes.
You were talking about the debit rate of that kind of provider, telling that, okay, it's 4K, but the debit rate is very low and it's not enough to have a good quality. And Blu-ray disc is the only one in the world to have that kind of quality. It was 7 months ago. Is it still on, that kind of thing? Do you still think the same regarding Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV?
The short answer is it's basically still the same. I just want to go back one step, though, and remind everybody, we've always thought that the more players in the market, it's definitely better. We had no bigger wind in our sails when we were launching the original Blu-ray than when ESPN HD started broadcasting. Okay. It's the same target audience, and when there's more contents, especially if you're the best, and we think we're still the best, we appreciate that more players are in the market. It's a win-win for us, definitely. Now, that getting back to your original question, it is the same. 7 months later, it's basically the same situation. There are very few of the population, not only in the United States, but the biggest markets in Europe as well, including France, that have broadband speeds capable of consumers really enjoying a quality 4K HD experience. Is the bottom line.
I mean, most of the countryside here is very low. They cannot get any real 4K, real Ultra HD with Netflix and everything. And we are talking about the US. US, maybe it's another country, a big one, but you got the chance to get everything. But regarding Europe, I mean, in my concern, when we were talking at the beginning of this show about the sales of the TVs and everything, I don't really think, I'm going to be the devil's advocate, I don't really think that when people are buying what you call a 4K Ultra HD TV, they think about Blu-ray disc. They think of getting the box, they think of getting maybe, play some games and everything. They don't really think about Blu-ray disc because maybe there will be Netflix, we're going to put in it with Ultra HD. And this is why I'm asking you what's going to be the commercial plans regarding all these guys from Sony Pictures, from Lionsgate, from Universal. What can they do to make this more affordable? Because it's very expensive. They look at it, it's a movie I'm going to see once, maybe in 1 year, and it's 30 euros. It's very expensive. Maybe they want to buy it, but no, because Netflix 10 euros per month, and I got it, and I got the movie. Do you know anything about a commercial a gesture or something like to do something?
Well, no, and the business opportunities and how they are perceived by each company, obviously that's a company by company choice.
Yeah, I know.
Netflix themselves, for example, they say that 25 megabits per second is what is required for that really quality experience.
It's more or less impossible in most of the
Prime
countries.
time in the United States is less than 5.
It's full HD.
US is number 10. None of France is not even in the top 10. Britain is not in the top 10. Germany is not in the top 10. Everybody is lower than the United States, which has prime time of less than 5. First of all, the other point, but I don't know exactly what each company is thinking, but I do know that studios up until now for this new format, they have already on the market 150 titles.
Yeah, I know.
They've announced, you know better than me,
300 this year.
by the end of the year. This is a clear indication that studios are investing big time in this format. The other thing is, like I said, we see what's happening in Hollywood in front of our eyes. We're here to now for countries like France, countries like Japan, where Hollywood is a smaller market share than the United States, obviously. We need to get the local content people on board to really, I think, increase the opportunities for the French consumers as well.
I understand everything, but don't you think, I'm going to be the devil's advocate, that this is great. I really love this format. I can tell you from the beginning of my career, I love physical discs. But don't you think that at the end it's going to stay like a niche, not something huge? Because it's going to be always expensive, it's going to be physical. Young people don't want to talk about this, but want to talk about Netflix. Don't you think it's going to stay like a niche?
I don't actually. For many reasons, the number of titles becoming available.
Doesn't mean that people are buying it. You can put the titles into the shops, and people will say, "Okay, it's great. I've got this, but I don't want to buy it because it's expensive. I don't understand this."
Ultra HD Blu-ray titles are selling 8 times more this year than last year. So I don't. We started from zero.
You start.
You're the devil. Yes.
Question. We started
Yes.
from. I wish it is going to succeed. I really wish, but I'm asking myself. What can we do to make it successful? What can we do to make it more successful?
Yes.
This is why I'm doing this show. I mean, what's going to be the something that's going to be a big boom?
Well, I think first of all, more and more manufacturers in the market means more competition, means much more attractive price points for the consumers. Yep. I hope to see the same development in the package media area as well. Again, the availability of local contents, especially for countries like, I think this is huge. This is huge. I think those are the main points, though. Okay. And consumer education, I mean, we have to get out there. The awareness, HDR awareness is very low. 4K awareness, very relatively high. HDR awareness, low. And so awareness, education, that's what we need to work on this year as well.
Power! Victor,
we
are getting to the conclusion of this show in English. Okay. It was great to have you here on this set. Can you tell me about the new brands getting into action with the players, the Blu-ray Disc Ultra HD 4K players?
Yes, so we talked about how positively everything is developing. One thing I think we forgot to mention concretely regarding Ultra HD Blu-ray players, this time last year, if we had done this interview, I would have said that we only have 3 manufacturers. This year we have 8. And interesting enough, though, of those 8, it's not only the major brands that everybody's familiar with. Again, Sony, among others, and Panasonic, and Philips, and Samsung, and LG. But now you're also getting brands. You mentioned a couple brands as well. Oppo and Cambridge Audio, for example.
Very known by the high-end enthusiasts.
But it's very interesting to note that even these type of more very specific target-oriented companies are getting involved in the format as well. I think this says a lot about the development, the very positive development of the format.
Be clear about it. I wish that everything's going to succeed, and they got Disney involved in it. Disney.
That's what we did not mention as well. So again, last year I would not have been able to say every Hollywood studio is involved. This year we can say, after Comic-Con, which was in 2nd or 3rd week of July, Disney came on board. They did not come out with just any title. They came out with a very huge title as the big one. They announced at Comic-Con a very huge event. They brought out cast members. Again, it's just a very good, I think, sign of another Hollywood studio, the last remaining Hollywood studio, and how much they are really looking to invest in this format.
Victor, I'd like to say thank you. On behalf of everyone here at Zero Point Net TV and Pierre, who is the director, thank you so very much for being here.
Pierre and Pipi.
And
I think you said
PPG-san, for Christ's sake, PPG-san.
Yes.
I'd like to conclude saying that, of course, it is very difficult, to do that kind of interview in English and
Thank you.
Not putting this guy in troubles and upset him, because there are so many things to say. I'm very involved in this business, and I always think that so much more can be done, on our territory here in France. I know about the US. US is going to be the priority all the time because Hollywood is in the US and we are in France. Then I wish that everything goes well, and thank you again, Victor. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. And that's one of the reasons I'm here, though, is to hopefully make that success from the United States.
Okay, get lower prices. Put the HDR on and Dolby Vision and all that stuff. Thank you again, Victor.
Merci beaucoup.
C'est la fin de ce numéro de Power qui a été très animé. J'ai posé les questions que je pouvais poser et il a répondu comme il le voulait, le Victor. Il est super gentil. La semaine prochaine, un autre numéro de Power avec encore des choses incroyables. Merci de l'avoir regardé. Les réseaux sociaux, c'est ici. Ma chaîne YouTube, c'est ici. Et j'ai vraiment été très, très, très heureux. Il y aura beaucoup de questions après cette émission avec un monsieur aussi important que Victor. Et il y aura certainement d'autres émissions qui sont consacrés à l'évolution de ce marché Blu-ray, du HDR et tout ce qui va avec. Vous voyez que les éditeurs sont dedans, que tout le monde essaye de faire avancer les choses, mais c'est le public qui décide à la fin, et c'est donc vous qui allez décider de ce qui va se passer pour l'avenir du Blu-ray, que je souhaite radieux, Rainbow. Voilà, merci encore et à très vite sur ZeroNet TV dans ce numéro de Power.